And the little thing up here, it changed my daily routine.
This is a virtual trip to the four corners of the world to visiting my friends and colleagues during the Corona time. It doesn't matter how slow the internet connection is. You must be there and with us.
Hi everyone. My name is Josephine from Kenya in Nairobi. I am a broadcaster. I do radio and television, and I'm manager for the Parliament of Kenya. We do the coverage of the two houses of Parliament.
I live in Anchorage, which is the largest city in Alaska, but it's not the capital. There are about 650,000 people in Alaska. Territory-wise, it's the largest US state, and about half of the people, so 300,000, live in Anchorage. There is a school here in Anchorage that provides a German language immersion program, and I work there as a teaching assistant.
I am from Kathmandu, Nepal. I am director of photography DOP. I am also doing the photography since a long time. So my passion is photography.
I'm Fatima. I'm a software developer. I enjoy working as a programmer, problem solving, and the new challenge.
I'm Hasa, and I'm a first-year university student, and I also work as a swimming instructor.
I'm Arsanan. I work for Bosch as a hydraulic sales engineer.
I do video documentaries, educational videos, PSAs. That's what I do.
Well, I'm Eduardo Ramirez. I am a social communicator. I used to work as a journalist.
I'm a musician. That's 24 hours a day. I'm a musician. So, and teaching is like, for me, it's a natural thing. And I've always been, I've always had students.
What I do is advising other organizations about safety and healthy work, because many people can get pain in their body, but it has nothing to do with sitting behind the desk in a specific way. It can also have something to do with your private situation, and it's not about selling products like a new chair or a software or some things like that. The basic thing that I do is ask a lot of questions.
I have been moved to work for an economic newspaper.
I work as a IT specialist in data management for federal government.
I'm ICU nurse, and I worked for 7 months for Kabanamur German emergency doctors in the northern area of Somalia. It's called Somaliland, an autonomous region up there, and we built up and ran a hospital.
I'm a third-year student at the University of Washington, and I'm studying computer science. I'm in Seattle right now.
I'm Krishna Prasad Segdil, I am a development communicator working in Nepal.
I'm a researcher and instructor of philosophy and theoretical sciences.
My main business is singing roles on stage in opera performances over Europe at the moment. So it's basically a play where you sing. You're a character, you get to wear costumes, you have to dig into the character.
I work as a lecturer at the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication teaching media studies. I live in Nairobi.
I'm a freelance journalist. I'm self-employed, meaning I work from home, but I work for like three local media organizations. So I do radio, I do written press, and I do TV.
I teach at university.
My name is Ram Joshi. I'm a documentary video editor.
I am now in a position of formulation of policy for broadcast throughout Pakistan with the consultation of my higher authorities.
As an academic, as a professor, I actually worked at home 75% of my time before I came back to Vietnam.
Teach and coordinate German as a foreign language teaching in Kosovo and the Republic of North Macedonia as well. And actually sent from the German government.
First time I heard coronavirus in Wuhan in China. I'm so scared about if coronavirus come in Nepal, what we do?
From the very beginning, I was worried because my native country is Mongolia, and it's just borders with China, and they travel to each other quite a bit. So then I was worried about the virus would come to Mongolia, but the Mongolian government knew that if they would allow the virus come into the country, it would be a disaster because the country is smaller, and then their health system cannot handle if everybody would get infected, especially this virus is a very new, and then it was known to the world. Even the Chinese doctors didn't know how to handle it.
The first time that I heard about this outbreak, which happened in China for the first time, I think it was, just before the new year 2020. Of course, we got shocked, but it was not something new because it has something like that has happened in the past.
When I heard that, I thought that wouldn't be much serious. I thought that this is just a disease will go by.
I didn't took it so seriously as I do now. So because I didn't know what it was, and it wasn't here in Europe, it wasn't near me or my beloved ones.
Oh, and you are without mask. It means that you are.
Yeah, because I closed.
Nobody paid much attention to it here in Japan. However, the rapid increase in the number of the affected and dead people in China make the government and people got worried.
Well, when it first appeared, I thought it was just one of those things that are probably going to be blown out of proportion by the media, and people are gonna panic and exaggerate and go out and stockpile and whatnot. And but then I started to realize that it was somewhat serious, and one would have to be personally careful and take steps.
The first 2 weeks, it was scary. Because, like, we don't know what's happening. Why is this happening? Are they doing it right? And, how long is this going to be? What about their livelihood? So all these things was like, it was very unclear. And every day the announcements were changing, and we can't, it was very confusing times.
It was it wasn't really a big deal because, especially like when it happened, it was like end of Christmas over here. It was summer holidays. I don't think it was on anyone's radar or wasn't considered that much of a problem, especially in Perth, because it's so far away from everyone.
I thought it's more of a Chinese problem far away, and it's unlikely to threaten us here in Europe. But then in February, I remember, I had an international conference in Berlin, and a few colleagues actually had arrived also to join the conference from China. And some of us were a bit concerned that they might infect us, but I did not really take it seriously, to be honest, no.
I didn't think any, major things, same as the other virus, everything, usual as same as for example, Ebola, and people can find the vaccine very quickly.
In the beginning, when it was appeared in China, and after some time in Iran, and we listened to it in international news. So one of my friend came to my home. He was suffering from flu, and he was coughing. So at the moment, I felt some embarrassment, but I could not open that thing in front of him because our culture, and I belong to KP, the Pathan culture, where you will honor your guest and will never felt him that I am unhappy on your arrival. So I was embarrassed, but I managed the situation. Oh, the time was over. But I decided to not shake hand with someone. And for any necessary work, when I go out and when I enter in my house, then I wash my hands. And also my little daughter, when I entered from outside, he said to me, "Papa, wash your hand first." So now it has become the compulsory culture of our society and family to remind one another to wash your hand.
For the first time, I heard the coronavirus was spread in China, and at that time, I didn't imagine that will come to Nepal also.
I sit there in our small village, Ainabo. It's 700 kilometers away from the capital, Hargeisa, in Somaliland. It's in the middle of nowhere. So I was very glad that I had water, food, and a bit of power sources and Wi-Fi connection just to stay in contact with all the people I love. So, and over this wire, I got the information about the coronavirus as well. So it was like very abstract for me to really imagine what could happen in the world. So I didn't really thought about it. And as I heard that they locked down a whole city in China, in Wuhan, I thought it would never be possible in Europe, or like especially in Germany where I come from.
My first reaction was, oh no, they start again this, oh, you have to, because every year it's the flu vaccine, and I never had any, I don't want any. And I thought, okay, they do it again. In 1 or 2 weeks, it's forgotten.
What is changed in the world for a few months, I think, is a big pause. Like life going on and suddenly stop.
Clear blue skies today, as you can see. Not much happening on the road. It's like really, really quiet. It's like Wednesday afternoon, not much traffic about. And and the beautiful mountains you can see from here as well. And I'm pointing in the direction of the town area. So I live in Montfleury, that is on the outskirts of the capital, Victoria.
I was supposed to be traveling, singing on big stages all over the world at the moment. But they closed down all the theaters, and of course this is it's a tragedy for all artists, because suddenly from being a traveling artist, you are unemployed at home.
You have also jazz club.
Yeah, we've been our jazz club have to close almost 2 months.
Oh.
Yeah, we closed from 14th of March, which is 15th of March that the mayor of Hanoi, decide to close all the entertainment club.
Vietnam history has been going through a lot of wars, but because we work together as a whole body, we were able to push back the invaders over and over.
Vietnam has a very big population.
Yeah.
The density is very high.
There's a 19 million.
So it means that we have very high risk. If we don't have necessary steps to protect ourselves. So that's why Vietnam, we start to we have action very early. Otherwise, everything's collapsed.
Most of people in Vietnam are very proud of our country, proud of our system. Yes, because you have said that Vietnam is very close to China, and why China have tens of thousands people died of coronavirus, and on the second stage, a lot of countries around the world also face the same situation. But Vietnam, now we still have under 300 cases, infected cases, and more than 80% have totally recovered from coronavirus, and no one dead. Are also very motivated move because of the images of doctor and soldier who works very hard for us. So yes, and we are aware that each of us have to a small part of the chain to fight against coronavirus.
I feel very safe in Vietnam. At first, there were very little people on the streets.
How you manage your daily life during the lockdown or
So
masks?
now what they're making us do is that, as much as possible, you stay home, right? And every household has one ID. So only one person for each household can go out to do whatever, grocery shopping, marketing, etc. So I'm the one to go out. My husband is high risk because he has diabetes, so vulnerable. So it's not advisable for him to go out. He has to be extra careful. In our neighborhood, there's a checkpoint.
Okay.
So you show your card. So you can't get out or get in without that card.
No, look, that's a lovely system. I mean, well, maybe the Americans should learn from Philippines.
Oh no, we are in many other ways. It's really bad for us.
Since I'm living in the United States, so actually we becoming aware of that virus very early on. But as you know that the government didn't do much. But actually we were told that we are safe, nothing to worry about. But then now look, as of today, over 1 million people have been infected. We've been so vulnerable, and that's why so many people, died because of this. I mean, like misinformation or ignorance.
Well, this is my balcony. We're living in a flat condo.
Okay.
I have the guarantee of my life for the next 2 weeks, let's say. But there are a lot of people out there here in Colombia. They live on their own daily on their own daily earnings. So if they don't work today, they don't have to eat tomorrow.
Supermarkets have left nothing behind. People selfish and take all the toilet paper and or the bread or the flour. They just take it all. But that's not what I experienced here. All the supermarkets, people buy what they need and they go home. They don't over prepare and selfish and take everything.
People here panicked.
Panic
buying toilet paper and sanitizer.
The Somalis really thought that the virus can never affect them, so they just don't believe in it. So they think they are so strong that the coronavirus could not harm them, and that was like what I liked, because you've seen that the people in Europe panicked and got to the grocery stores, bought all those toilet papers and pasta. And all those Somali people came to me because they knew that I was German and asked me why those people buy toilet paper and all those pasta. What do they do with it? And I was there like, I really don't know, because like in the Islamic culture, you don't even use toilet paper, so it was not really for sense at all.
It was a useless things. Unimaginable.
Exactly. They really imagined that we cook the toilet paper with the pasta together. So like all those memes when they said, okay, we make a new dish with like pasta and toilet paper on it. This is what they really thought, that we're gonna eat it maybe in bad times.
This particular little thing has happened in the whole globe. I mean, in our lifetime, in my lifetime, there has never been such an experience. I never imagined that there would come a time that the whole globe would shut down. So I only go to the office just once a week for sittings of only 3 hours, and I'm back in the house, working from home, having Zoom meetings, having meetings with colleagues.
I am residing in a place from that about 2-kilometer distance. There was a patient, there was a man who was affected. His travel history was he came from China. So after some days, symptoms of coronavirus appeared. So he was an educated man. He was PhD doctor. Therefore, he realized that if I conceal, I can spread it. Therefore, he himself approached to the health department. The health department and local administration put him to the hospital, and that very street was closed and was under observation for a certain period. So when he was recovered and the authorities prayed to disinfect the area, the whole area, not only that one street, but the whole vicinity. And after that, the street was opened. At that time, it was a complete lockdown of that very area, and people were not allowed to go or to out. Exit and entrance was banned, but only with certain specific reasons.
How you feel about the coronavirus?
Sad.
It's quite devastating, and it's quite difficult to manage because now all the work is stopped, so we are on lockdown.
Your family and relatives are in Singapore. How is in Singapore?
As for in Singapore, I feel that this is just my personal opinion. We have a very strong reliance on what the government tells us to do. Even I myself, someone who's so rebellious, has a tendency to listen to that. For example, about not wearing a mask. It sounds scientific, it sounds logical, that initially the advice was wear a mask only if you are sick. So we actually do that, but when we came to Vietnam, we realized that we shouldn't do that. We have to wear a mask everywhere we go.
Yeah.
So we immediately
Always
follow. And even up till now, it's so difficult for Singaporeans to actually take the initiatives for themselves. You have the government going around with ambassadors telling them, please wear a mask. If not, we have to fine you $300.
They will find them.
And they'll fine them $300 for not wearing a mask overnight. So I feel that there is that reliance in Singapore, and I'm quite worried at that.
Initially in Kosovo, we had only 2 cases, 2 infected people, and but then obviously they started to close the schools in neighboring Albania, and a little bit later here, from one day to the next actually. And I must say, at the beginning I thought, oh cool, we will have extra holiday, you know, we will have 1 or 2 weeks extra holidays and then it's gonna be over. But by now it's been a bit long, you know, to be honest.
Well, at the beginning it was like normal, but once that broke out in the US and more people were coming by plane, that got serious here, and the government took action, and slowly they start the lockdown.
The Japanese government, which declared that it will take measures to stop the virus at the border, could not prevent the influx of viruses. In a sense, it can be said that Japan is occupied by an external virus, external enemy.
I think it affected like bigger cities in Australia like Melbourne and Sydney much more quicker, and people were I don't know, had like a kind of different reaction than they did in Perth to some degree, until we also realised that it's very much likely to affect us as it is them as well.
Last time I lived in a city was in Munich, and it was, I think I left in 94, 95 and went to the countryside. So I moved since then, but I'm always outside in the countryside. And here in my village, the only place where you see it is the bakery down the road, where suddenly then I could see it, you know, because until then didn't see any difference. Sun is shining, I can have a walk, and still it is. I've seen apparently in the cities it's pretty bad because you have the police. You're not supposed to go there and there. Here I haven't seen any police, you know.
And using masks or something like that?
The only place where I saw masks were at the bakery, and since this week, since Monday, even I have to wear a mask. So it's funny because I play with it, you know. It's really interesting the psychological effect it has on people. Suddenly, you know, they don't greet on the street. You know, before they were saying hello, yes, good morning, and now no, behind their mask, and so they don't look at you. As long as they see you have some sort of white thing there, it's okay. They don't look precisely. And my mask, I can't remember exactly how I got this one, but I think it was back in India. You know, it was 98. I had this. I can show you that a second.
Okay.
So Alaska is a good place to be during this pandemic, though we have only about 370 cases and 10 deaths so far. And the spread is very slow here because there's very low population density. So there's not a lot of people and there's a lot of space for everybody. So that's good. I wouldn't want to be in New York or even in Frankfurt.
Do you know when appeared in Alaska?
Yes, it appeared exactly when we expected it to appear. So in March, there is 1 week that's spring break where school is on vacation. And we know that traditionally Alaskans like to travel in March because March is still, in March we still have about 2 months of winter to go and the kids have a vacation. And then people travel south. So they travel out of state, they travel to Hawaii, they travel to Las Vegas, to those places. And we had no cases before that, at least not reported cases. And after spring break, when people started coming back, the first cases started to appear.
Yeah. So that's I had this for ages closed, but I didn't realize it's for children. So that's my mask. But it doesn't matter. I mean, I wore it many times now, so that's the mask, and it's too small, you know.
That's very
It's not
small.
probably, but that's okay because the people, they don't look, you know.
Yeah.
So they see something white, they don't see that the sides are open. So I can breathe because, you know, it's dangerous anyway, you know.
I didn't feel very close to me because we didn't have any, much people in here, specifically in Perth, too many sick people in here, and just as a normal one, mostly in the Sydney and Melbourne.
We finished our project in the desert, and we handed over our hospital to another organization. And so we moved to the capital, moved into a nice apartment, and spent there the first 3 days and started to prepare our assessment throughout all the country to look out for like neglected area to start new projects. So as we moved there, we heard about the whole progress that the whole travel is going to be shut down, that countries closing their borders. In between, the coronavirus got to Italy, and there was no dangerous situation at all until the first case of coronavirus appeared in Mogadishu in Somalia. And as soon as the first case of coronavirus arrived in Mogadishu, they say that in between the next 72 hours, they're going to shut down all airports and all borders, even for Somaliland. This was the time where all other NGOs and even the UN started to evacuate their people, their expats. So I went to the airport without even knowing that I can get to Germany. And in that moment we got there, I got the ticket to Germany. So it was like really last minute flight booking, very exciting. So and a couple hours later I landed in Germany, in Frankfurt. And this is how I got back.
When was that? Do you remember when was that?
The exact date was on the 18th March. So I came from Ethiopia, landed in Frankfurt, and there was no such thing as temperature control or to like infection prevention control, any kind of action there.
There was no security. There was no security at no area of the airport.
My sister, Katharina, picked me up at the airport, and I was very glad to see her again after such a long time. She was very happy, and it was like the first hug with a loved person since a very long time, and it felt amazing.
I was so happy that he came back to Germany and he's okay.
There in a Muslim country, you have a social distance, like to everyone, every time. So, and this moment when I first saw my sister and gave a real nice hug, was like I felt the love and I felt like home.
I don't care anything about social distancing.
The first 2 weeks was like only quarantine, self-quarantine, because nobody at the airport told me to go into quarantine. Nobody got me like any regulation or restriction. I learned to have a new side on my home again, to appreciate the small things, like running tap water, even you want it cold or you want it warm, like having warm shower without even like having a cup to pour over my head. This is what I did 6 months.
I'm a very grateful person, and I'm thankful that I'm living in a country like Holland, and I'm very easygoing. So I know that the things that we have here in Holland, it's not something that is very obvious because this is new for everyone. But it's all about your own mindset. If you are living in Western countries, you have everything that you want to have. The most of the people, because of course, also in Western country, there are a lot of people without insurance, without healthy situations, homeless people, of course. But I'm not like that. I'm just very easygoing. My thoughts are always on the people, on the little kids in Africa, that they are getting very difficult times right now, more than ever. So for me, it's no problem to live in a corona time like this.
As a government employee, I have the telework option. So every other week, I work one day telework, working from home. But then when it started, in the States, actually our organization allowed us to work from home like around 10th of March. And then from the following week, the whole country was, locked down. Actually, business started closing.
In Colombia, we are in quarantine, and for the last month, and we can't go out. So I have a lot of time to write. I am writing stories about people that would like to get their own story written in a book.
My work didn't changed a lot. The only thing that changed is that I can't see them on location, but I can see them just the way I'm watching you right now, just the way you are working right now. That's the same thing that I do with my customers and organizations.
My position to produce documentary film, I think is not very, very big. Instead, because I can do my work through the internet and your phone, and you can arrangement. Some people do the thing like you want, but it's very big problem when you cut to your correct.
Okay.
For me personally, it doesn't, very major affected, I couldn't understand. But for some people who I know it's a lab technician, or for example, working in some specific role, I know it's my friends, it's very hard for them. They're going to work and working every day.
I feel that I don't know when I should stop doing my office work. So it's like I like to devote a certain portion of my time to my research. So that means I read, I draft down notes here and there, I sit down to write, and I sit down just to relax and think. So when these two mix up together, it's very difficult to focus on one aspect. You don't know when one ends and the other starts. So that these are two very different concepts.
We are doing our work 3 days from home and 2 days in the office. Now I am in the office, and due to the commencement of Holy month of Ramadan, we are preparing the the timings, the strategy of Seher transmission, of Tar transmission, and disseminate office orders, instructions to far-flung areas of Pakistan.
2.5 years ago, and we haven't fixed the pictures, the videos yet. I have finished so many productions, but my own production I haven't done. So I probably have to do that.
No one is waiting for you. You don't need to leave the house. You don't have a deadline. You don't have your boss on the phone saying, hey, I'm expecting you to deliver your work. It's all has to come from you, from within. So it's asking a lot of inspiration and discipline and peace of mind to feel inspired enough to get to work. Because what do you do if you're an artist and you can't perform, you're not paid, you don't have a prospect? Well, you might as well stay in bed and watch Netflix. But it doesn't make you feel good.
Well, worldwide they use it the home office. The people should work at home. But your case, you don't have any. You can't do it home office.
I don't have any. I'm watching movie. I never watching Netflix. With a series television. I never watching it, but now I'm starting watching that Netflix. So I mean, it's something new to getting started with.
Okay, it means that you have more time, free time, let me say.
Yeah.
How do you spend your free time at home?
Well, I mean, the most busy time is cooking for my kid. So I'm preparing breakfast, then let they play around, and then I have to prepare for lunch. After lunch, they go to have some taking nap a little bit, and then have to prepare for dinner. All right. So after dinner, they go to study online. So I have to stay there, guard them, stuff like that. So it's quite busy when my kids are around. But then if they stay in my wife's family, then I have more time to watching movies.
And how is going the system of online teaching?
We use Zoom, and we have a proper timetable, which lesson is when. Presence is actually controlled. The students have to be there, and they are there. We check that. And I must say, German as a foreign language, it's not particularly difficult because there's lots of material online designed for online teaching and interactive, teaching. So for me, it's not really satisfying, let's say, but as a temporary solution, it's okay. Better than nothing, of course.
In this particular situation, it's very different because everybody is working from home. My daughter is studying from home. So if my daughter is studying from home, that means my wife has to work from home and at the same time help her with the study from home, because children are not fully equipped to do home-based learning without the help of someone to guide them. And that person plays a very big role. You have to know the work, you have to sit through the exercise with them, and then you have to go through the task and the lessons with them. So that's what my wife has been doing over and above what she normally teaches her at home.
Because of the village and people, I notice also my students and their parents, they are like more intelligent than the average, because most people don't do any music first, they watch TV, and okay, I shouldn't say it, but I say it. I have like 3 who are still coming, and I say, okay, agree, responsibility, don't be seen. They come, it's children, they come, they spend half an hour and they're gone, and everybody's happy. I still earn my money. They get their tuition because they pay monthly.
When life is going very fast, you feel like you have to be everywhere, when you feel like you have to work harder to achieve something, when you feel like um, you're afraid to miss out on something, there's no way you can just sit at home and just be, and just say like, hey, listen, I'm taking some time off. I'm disconnecting from all people. I'm disconnecting from the world. I'm not showing up to this event. You're too restless to make these kind of choices. Now the choice is being made for you. So suddenly I have the time to be at home and read a book, or to cook, or to do the things that I would love to do, but I never find the peace for. It's not about finding time, it's about finding peace and quiet, to go for a run, to enjoy just little things outside that you see, or enjoy, I don't know, a quiet cup of coffee in the morning, which usually you take to go.
I see this crisis we're living in now as actually many people say it's a chance to do things differently. And so that's why I was saying about re-evaluating my work. What am I doing? It's like, I suppose everybody is or should be doing it now. It's like, what am I doing? Who am I? What for?
I'm in media. I'm in the media-related field. I love the media. I'm taking this time to come up with, to set up a new project with a friend. So far, we've registered the project. We've opened our account, and now we're developing our app. So this is what is keeping me going. New business venture, media related, and it's fun because we don't have to go into any offices. We're doing it from home. So it's really, really wonderful. Even my business partner and I, we're teleconferencing. We don't see each other in person, but we're using the internet, of course, to communicate. So this is my little project.
Skype meetings every day. Monday was the first day I worked from home. I started with the first Skype meeting at 8 p.m. and finished my first work day at 5 a.m.
I have a lot of time on my hands now that I'm not in the office, so I found time to do different things in my house. I have some chicken I'm rearing, I have eggs, I'll show that to you later.
Great.
I've been doing a bit of baking and just cooking dishes which normally I don't have time to cook. It's quite boring staying at home, really. But as a woman, you can never miss things to do, you know. Everybody else is sleeping on the couch, watching TV, playing games.
Imagine that you're climbing a mountain, and I haven't climbed a mountain in a long while. I don't know, 3 years, 4 years was the last time I climbed a mountain. So I said, like, okay, let's pretend I'm climbing this mountain. And I like computed how many kilometers to climb up. And then I measured my stairs. Okay, I have to do, like, every day, I have to do 20 trips to the third floor and back down.
The situation has forced us to
be creative, you know. So I mean, from the smallest thing as exercising, now we are bound to exercise indoor and to utilize whatever we can find. So I basically try to work out my arm with my working desk. So, you know, just crawl under the desk and do the workout. Let me move the computer.
Okay.
You can see it better. See it. Here, you see this?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of plunging out into this, and I just try to move. So it work out the bicep section right here and the grip.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And, yeah, I'm trying to jump out of the table, doing some push-up movement to work out tiny section of my body.
Sure.
But you know,
my husband is an army officer and he had to stay at his office. When I have 3 weeks working at home, it means that I have more time with my children. I can prepare food and favorite food for them, and also have time play with them because I don't have to travel a lot. I also have more time for doing exercise or dancing. Yes, I really like Zumba, so I have more time for Zumba dance.
Actually, lately, starting maybe like 2 weeks ago, we created a virtual environment to socialize with the friends, you know, to do some exercise, because you know, like when the gyms, you know, fitness clubs are closed, you know, you don't exercise, and then we realized that okay, you know, we are not moving, and then we start, you know, gaining few pounds here and there. So like, oh, okay, which is not good. So then and then with the YouTube, is actually we do some yoga exercises, stretches, and then also we do Zumba. And then just a couple of weeks ago, we started doing some, you know, exercises together with the friends, like 4 or 5 families, you know, get together on Zoom, because you know, when with the friends, when you do the things like that, you actually you feel kind of obligated. You go because you know your friends are waiting for you out there.
For my husband, there's really not much of a change for him because he does his work at home. You know, he works from our garage is his workshop. So it's just like it's quieter.
As a camera person, I can't work outside. So what I'm doing is there are a lot of these footage I have shot, and it was not systematically ordered. So I have made some folders and put it this like different different folders in different subjects. So that was a good time for me because before it was very difficult for me to do that type of thing. My wife, she is a teacher in the school, and the school is closed now. Actually, the vacation started, but in start of the April it was going to open, but now still for lockdown, it's now closed. She is a craft teacher. She's not wasting her time.
And it's also not very easy to have three of us at home all the time.
I can imagine.
Like I am used to having alone time with Aubrey, and then suddenly he's at home all the time and he wants to tell me how to cook, what to clean, what should I cook for lunch, what we should buy. So I think this is like an obstacle.
Yeah, you feel that you have two kids at home.
Yes, 2 kids at home.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right.
The whole panic around it, the things how the governments handle this pandemic, this is what scared me.
So dramatic in many countries, many people have died, you know. Then dramatical economic situations in some places, people losing their jobs, people losing their businesses.
Over the last 4 years, during the Trump administration, people have been living with hardship in my country. So life has become very difficult here. We didn't have access to drugs, we didn't have access to, let's say, medical equipment or facilities and things like that. And, this is one thing. And imagine you are suffering from all those economic hardships, and now you are facing with something else.
And particularly in poorer states like Kosovo is, where they don't get much help from the government, to compensate their losses. That I'm worried about, really, indeed. Yes.
In Kathmandu right now, people are very selfish. If somebody come, visit our family, another family, they suspicious he have a coronavirus or not. And we read a newspaper. One landlord don't allow their people, because they come from village. They just kick out and they go to homeless. And right now, I think they go to quarantine.
Before the virus, it's really make you feel lonely. And I don't know if you know a lot about Seattle, but people are really distant here. It's called Seattle cold or Seattle freeze, something like that. But it's a big city. It's just everyone do their own thing. So it's lonely before and even lonelier now due to the virus.
The only thing which makes my life not that easy at the moment is that I can't see my grandpa. Haven't seen him since the beginning of February, and his health situation is not that good.
I think it will be very big difference with before. Is now we have to talk with arrangement or someone only not like a normal. We have to use face mask. You cannot see how they smile, and maybe not smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very, very.
Wait a second, please. That your picture is still frozen.
It's better to have eye contact, because when I'm not okay with the situation and we argue about some important plans we have to talk about, it's so easy to take this red button and say the conversation is over.
I remember 9/11. My husband happens to be from New York, and we thought, I mean, a lot of people in New York, they thought this was the end of the world, and it wasn't. I mean, everything is back. We still speak about it. Sometimes we watch, like flashbacks and media coverage from the time, but it wasn't the end of the world, and this is not going to be the end of the world now.
Communication level of all media, mainstream media, since the last 50 years, it's always going down and down. It's like sixth grade. So they're talking to us like children, and more stupid children.
Yeah.
and they think we're going to believe it. They still haven't realized that no, you have adults who are critically listening and thinking, well, something is wrong, and who are going to do their own research, especially on internet. I mean, it's all open. The aware people, they do their research, and very quickly. I mean, most people I know, they don't watch TV anymore. I'm so annoyed having to pay this compulsory, this license. I mean, I don't have a television, I don't watch television, I don't want to watch it, but I have to pay.
The fastest source of news is internet. Everyone have a smartphone, and all of them have access to the internet. So people would use it even more during this time. And news, that's the other thing. Newspaper. So many fake news, but people just want click, and it's on the clickbait. That's what they call.
Everywhere you look, I mean, all these politicians, these puppet politicians, they have no idea. If they have, they hide it anyway. So it's all like things, saying things, like just now, yesterday, I learned, you probably heard about this compulsory vaccine coming in the next weeks. Where are we, It could happen. I mean,
Yeah, sure. Whether it's the right medication, we don't know. But as long as, they want to sell.
If you know a bit about vaccines, it takes up to 10 years to develop a vaccine, and suddenly, it's there. They've been 1 week, 10 days working on it, suddenly it's there. Oh, yes.
We are not talking about freedom anymore. Nobody has any kind of freedom that he or she used to have. So freedom is not the word that it's the most important thing right now. But being healthy is the most important thing to be or think about right now.
positive things from the coronavirus, the climate change, the pollution, that kind of things, the only things. But the rest for me,
all negative.
all negative. Yeah.
The climate is better. I'm telling you, we have polluted the world. I stay where there are birds chirping all over behind my compound here. I've never seen so many birds on the trees. Suddenly there's fresh air for the birds.
The only thing which I think is that people now learn to do less unimportant things. Like some people, they have to go to their European holidays every year or twice a year. Stay home. If you stay at your home, if you stay in Perth for a year, it's not a big deal. You will not die. So less pollution.
Pretty much like really same thing kind of. It's just I don't think it was necessarily a positive thing to people's lifestyles, but it was definitely just beneficial for the environment.
The environment, nature, has time to recover a little bit from our pollution. It's very quiet, but I don't know if you see that positively or negatively. It reminds me more of a cemetery. We have a very nice old town here in Brisbane where I live, and normally it's full of people, particularly when the weather is nice, full of cafes, bars, restaurants, lots of people going out. And at the moment, it looks like in a dystopian movie.
You would
not be at Corona.
There are a lot of pollution here before. We couldn't walk without a mask also here in Kathmandu before. There's a lot of traffic. So now we can feel fresh air, and even my friends, they're telling that it's like 40 years ago, the air was like this.
Consumerism is, unfortunately, very much popular these days in the world, not only in my country, Iran, but also around the world. So consumerism, the coalition between consumerism and capitalism, they have ruined the environment and the nature.
We are just one and the same. We are people. We are human beings. What affects me in Africa affects my brothers in Asia, affects my sisters in America, affects our children in Australia. I mean, the world has been unified into one. And it has made me think and reflect that if we cannot reconnect physically, how else can we connect?
What I did at some point, I opened the windows here in Amsterdam, and I sat in the opening, and I just sang for the neighborhood. And there were people opening their windows on the other side of the street and listening or making a video, and it's not about me wanting the applause of the people. It's not about that. It's about sharing. And suddenly, you feel connection.
I go to DC, and my wife goes to Baltimore. So we both take commuter train. So, like, to catch the train, we were more in a rush. Now it's a more relaxed, and then we have a more time for us.
The most important is you have time for your family. For your family. Think that if you go to the office all day and just pick up the children from school to home and then let them to have dinner and then go to sleep. You don't have a time to talk with them.
Yeah.
To play. It's my.
Hey, sweetie.
Say hello. Say hello.
Hi, sweetie.
Hi.
Are you happy that the dad is at home?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that is great. Dad is not going to work and can play with you, right?
Yeah.
My family, we're very lucky because my husband and I, we still work. And our daughter is older, she can do all her school things online. And we live in a nice house and we have space around us. And we are very lucky personally. So you start enjoy being at home more. You have fewer distractions. You don't go out.
To spend their time with their family and their kids. I have a kid, so I'm spending my time with her each and every day, and I'm enjoying with her. So that might be a positive sign for me and the people similar to like me.
As usual, I do my work. My wife do she's work. She's make her food, and my daughter came, and my daughter do she's homework. And I think, and at that time, I think it's a perfect picture. But now I don't think so. I think now we have to do something together. Together. I I I feel it's very very interesting. What now I have to play my daughter game together, all my family.
Yeah, it means that people never pay attention to
Yes.
the family life, and the
Yeah.
little things brought the people the same place together, and you gave me wonderful image that is kind of colorful painting.
Yeah.
Everybody is doing something together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wonderful example.
Okay, my motto in life is adapt or die. I'm very positive. I'm a very positive person. I turn everything that is negative into a positive thing. I always look at what good can come out of this. So this is how I go about life. So maybe now we're at home, we have more time with the family, but as I said, we can stay connected via the internet, and there are so many things that can be done, that can get done without us being physically in a place, in a special location, in a special workplace. So people need to embrace that, need to know that, this time will pass. So in the meantime, what do we do?
At a personal level, for instance, I have, now this is different from the farming aspect. I also have, that is a group of people I work with. And most of the times we have to meet physically. They are older people. But it took a bit of time to teach one of us to use the Skype. It is something they have never used before. And we had a good meeting, and it was a very good, he usually relies on me to teach him how to work with the technology. And when we were able to do our business using the Skype, which is something he has never used before, he was very pleased and he said, I never knew this could happen without us having to meet over Teams. So I think that was something positive. Somebody learned something new in technology and appreciated that it's possible to do a lot of work when you're not meeting. Physical meeting is not that important anymore. I think it will be a lot easier from now onwards to be able to work from wherever you are. And you see, right now we are using a mobile phone. I don't even need to have a computer. The phone, and I can move with it from wherever. And these services are everywhere. So he was fascinated by the fact that we were able to accomplish that.
Manu, for me, really, this has made us find time for others. We've been running up and down, busy with ourselves, with our own lives, not knowing what's going on in someone else's life. But here we are. We have been told, stay where you are. We have the time, we have the space in our homes. We can now reflect. We can now reflect and think about others. We have time for them. We never had time for anything, I'm telling you. For me, this is a wake-up call that we need to reconnect more, especially during this time.
Every once in New Year, they're gonna have like New Year resolution. But for me, I was thinking about it, and I think that there's always reason not to do it. And now all of those reasons is gone. You only have yourself in the room. You cannot. There is no more excuse.
This is nice. It makes your home homey, and I don't know, like I have something else. I have something else I need to show you. Who needs this?
Oh God!
This is ceramic. It doesn't have a purpose, but it's nice. It's yeah, and I like to put it in my house, and I'm caring about them now because it keeps me occupied. I have the time for it.
What are you going to do first when the little thing disappeared, gone, dead?
It's a good question.
I have to play jazz. I have to play, man. I can play alone. I can plug in, play along, but it's different. It's different to play with other musicians. So I'm already imagined that, when it's over, we might call all the jazz club members to play one night together.
I want to go to a jazz club, sit down,
I knew that.
enjoy some good live jazz, a nice bottle of whiskey, and my friends.
Jazz club in Singapore.
The problem is that we don't have jazz club in Singapore.
Okay.
I'm going to be a better person. I have learned so many things, and I would like to put them into practice. And I would like to help the world become a better place, by the way.
I don't have much of a plan for the day after Corona crisis is over. I just want to return to my everyday life, go to job, do my work, and go to a theater and watch a movie. In the longer term, I think I should be more involved in the matters that concern the whole society.
After that, after
After the little thing is gone, dead away.
I will pray 2 rakat of Shukrana as a prayer, and I will proceed to travel to my native town to see my relatives which are alive along with me.
When this is all over, I will travel to reconnect with my immediate family members. I want to see them face to face. I want to touch them. I mean, for me, it's a lesson I have learned. I have taken it for granted that we can be meeting, but we never visit families again. We never go see them out there in the rural areas. We never reconnect and sit together and have a cup of tea.
I want to meet my family, other brothers and brothers, sisters, and my friends.
I think the first, I bring my wife, my daughter, my son to see my parents, and maybe after that, I have to go to wash my car.
First, I will get a haircut. My hair is so long. I'm gonna get a haircut, and I'm gonna see my friends. I'm gonna see my friends.
I don't think that I'm going to do anything different than what I'm doing now, because I'm a happy person, and maybe I go to a club or to a festival to dance with my friends.
I love traveling and just going to different places and discovering new things. That's really good thing to do.
Short holiday at a beach with family and maybe some friends, because I think that the little will disappear in maybe May and June. At that time in Vietnam it's summer.
I had some this year plan to travel to Japan and South Korea.
Actually, we wanted to go to Italy. Yeah, and I almost booked the tickets, and then suddenly the COVID hit. So I hope to go to Europe.
Get on a plane and go somewhere. But I guess, the first thing I will have to do is go back to school.
Yeah, that's you miss your student. Martin, that
Which
was.
I actually do miss, yeah. I mean, school is lots of work, lots of strain, but missing, yes, I'm missing my colleagues, I'm missing the kids, yeah. I feel a little bit like a pensioner.
I want to explore. It's inside Nepal, not outside. I want to explore and I want to go to trekking. Yeah.
Okay, I was actually saying that to somebody this morning. It's funny that you asked. So I said the first thing I'm going to do is wear my swimsuit and head to the beach.
First would be maybe a party, a little party with friends. Secondly, the second thing that I really miss is going to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Or to a pub or a bar for a drink or two.
Yeah, I think mainly hanging out with friends because it's been a while since we've all seen each other and all been together. So I'd probably plan something with friends, just all catch up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because Parsa's 18th birthday is a big birthday in Australia for kids. Yeah, the 18th one is the big one.
I'm going to take a walk because I can't take walks anymore because the movement is very there's so much restriction. And then I also want to see my friends. I can't see my friends. My birthday is coming up. I'm worried oh, my birthday is in June. And I'm going to turn 50. I want to have a big party. That's not going to happen.
Oh, well, I would like to invite some friends to the house and to go see some friends, because I think it's very strange not to invite anybody to the house. So, yes, it's awkward. I mean, some people do it and then they just basically sit in front of the house in their driveway with the chairs apart, but it's not the same. I mean, you want to eat and drink and go inside and this and that, so. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, I think. And I hope, I mean, our school year is practically over. School ends on May 21st, but for the new school year at the end of August, I really want everybody back at school. That's very important. So
there is this pastor that I always visit him every Sunday. And the last time I visited him is about a month ago, when the virus started getting huge and everyone worried about it. So he usually give out hugs to everyone, but he didn't give to a lot of people on that day. But he gave one to me. He said he trusts me. And I kind of miss that. So once this little thing over, I'll visit him, we'll have a coffee, and I'll give him a good hug, because I miss him. I miss talking to him as well.
Maybe I would go out and hug without any fear.
I am just arrived at the stage where I am getting calm. I'm actually opening myself to enjoy these little things, because of course first there's a panic, like everything is going to be different and everything is taken away from me, and now I'm at the stage where I'm actually calm. So to be really honest, I have not thought about the moment when things are going to be all the same again.
Our family lives in Iran, and they are very, they are in a very different situation right now. But I think about them a lot. Sometimes it makes you sad, and it takes a lot of energy to be positive. So that's the only thing that I'm thinking right now. And the parties, the dancing, the clubs, the fun, it will come back very easily after the coronavirus.
I'm not an island. What happens to me, it also happens to all of them. What happens to them, it also has a result on me. So we have to think not only as individuals or only as a father, mother, and children, but also as a society, because all of us are one. We are just one.
This situation, it didn't affect them like personally. Is there something that happened outside of their lives? It didn't affect them personally, so they didn't need to rethink anything. Like for my family, we had a COVID scare because my sister's boyfriend has corona, and then she had a very bad sore throat, and then suddenly we were like, oh no, actually corona can actually affect our lives.
It's always easier to blame someone else to take responsibility and work on your own habits and behaviors. And with this is a pandemic, this virus don't make a difference between races, between countries, between humans. It's just like, it's affecting everyone. So, and I really don't get the point. So my point of view is we need to work all together.
Our masters, they want to bring us to this transhumanism, you know, and that's exactly what it is. And for me, it's so obvious in the music field, because if you're a musician, if you're not playing the rhythm, like with your heart and with your hands and fingers and feet and whatever, then that's where it lives. If you're lazy and leave it to the computer, then you will have the same effect, which is like, this hypnotic effect is always there, but you can control it if you play, yourself. If you leave it to the computer, then the computer is hypnotizing you.
And maybe a lot of people learn that we do not have control over everything. We like to think, especially in the Western world, we like to think, oh, we know everything, we can do anything. But maybe we're not, maybe now we have a virus and we do not know exactly what this does and how this works. So maybe we're not as much in control as we think we are.
It is not a war of a country against another country, two sides. It is not a football match of one country against other country. This is a match that it's the whole humanity are in the same side.
No one is safe from a pandemic. So when you're faced with that question of mortality, that it could be you tomorrow, you could be the one to go, or the people who are close to you could be the one to go, is when you're really looking at your maker and think, okay, maybe I've done something wrong, I should rethink. I think everyone is generally faced with that kind of situation in this global pandemic.
We're gonna be disconnected, and instead of working together, we're gonna work for our own cause. Each country to protect their own people. It's gonna be a lot of separation after this. That's my fear. People are gonna get selfish and more.
They want to centralize everything, only one hub where everybody is supposed to like transhumanistically connect, and this is not for human beings, and we should all work on diversity and on decentralization and doing things differently as much as possible. Otherwise, it's going to be a nightmare.
Take care of nature. I think coronavirus happens. People are very crude about nature, exploit everything from nature. I think if take care of nature, nature take care of you, and then you take care of another person.
After this pandemic crisis is over, many things in our world, among them the international order, will change significantly. Probably so. However, it is unlikely that all changes will be good changes or even peaceful changes.
I'm quite happy there's no going back to normal, because that was anyway not normal what we were living. So there's going to be a change, that's for sure. What's going to happen, I don't know, but we also make it. It's the way we go at things that makes the world. So for some people it's going to be a nightmare, for some others it's going to be okay, and some will be better. So you can't, there's no point in staying on one idea, except who are you, what are you doing? That's the basic. Then going outside, what is it supposed to attain? Is it supposed to change things? And for me, it's like this, I can't see why I should change. Because it's still the same, doing music intelligently, as intelligent as I can be, and because intelligent music makes people more intelligent.
I think that our generation or a generation below my age, that they need a discipline that they didn't have. With internet, with mobile, with being lazy, don't want to do anything, or just being used to have a life that they always had. So I have to be careful with what I say, but maybe the coronavirus is also good for some things in the world, for the mindsets, for people who always thought that everything was so obvious and natural to have.
Enjoy every moment of your life.
Give me a big hug. I'm going to send you the hug to the people around the world, okay?
Play it's to dedicate to all who who got that kind of virus and passing away. So just want to play this, okay?
Yes, please, please.
All right, Manu.
My story is your stories that I've already told you about the invisible virus. But there are many visible disorders such as wars, racial and sexual discrimination. Will you please open your eyes, ears and minds? I'm sure you do. And I will tell you my new stories.